actually said, "Can I donate money to abort jigaboo babies or something like that?"
Yeah.
And they said, "So, and, Planned Parenthood being professional and political and all said, so you would like to make a donation specifically to go to a woman of color?" And yeah, they,
That's
the
what I was
board stand
here
went in
for.
trolling, and Planned Parenthood said, "Yep, give it to us." And Planned Parenthood said it all nice, but
Yeah, no, definitely. I
Yeah.
see what you're gonna.
Now see,
Until 2020? Are you kidding me?
I didn't know that. I kind of went off on the left side there where I got this. Oh, not on the left side, but I kind of went off onto the side and got distracted with that. I should have followed up on it, and I didn't. But where I kind of jumped from her was to the fact that I found out that after they do these freaking abortions, they take the fetus and they actually do scientific research with it into genetics and everything. So these baby fetuses that they're freaking aborting are being used for genetic research. Okay, and that is what blew me out of the water. I mean, so they're
oh,
actually making
they
money
sell
off of it.
them. Sometimes they get them still alive and sell them to colleges and what have you.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, that's how Project Veritas first got their real big start. And by the way, there's been a coup at Project Veritas since then. Project Veritas was doing so much damage to the deep state. They basically did everything they could to blackmail and compromise everyone else in the organization to get rid of James O'Keefe. And then they started dismantling the organization after he was gone and tried to sue James O'Keefe whenever he tried to start basically going undercover and doing the same thing all over again without him. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what started Project Veritas was exposing just how much money was tied up in Planned Parenthood
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
the selling of the parts.
you heard about the founder of Greenpeace, right?
Oh yeah, he. I mean, no. Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right person here. He's the one who's going around talking against them now, right?
Yeah, yeah. And what happened was is he was discommunicated or whatever they call that from Greenpeace because he got upset with Greenpeace when at first when they first started out it was always about freaking going out and saving the whales. You know what I mean? There were ships freaking full of people sitting in front of boats that were fishing for whales, stuff like that. You know, actually doing uh, activist stuff to save animals. So it went from that to the point where everything became environmental climate and lawyers and freaking politics. They Greenpeace spends more money now on lawyers and freaking sending money off to freaking politicians than they do in anything else. All right, and he became frustrated about it. He ended up freaking walking away from Greenpeace, and they completely disavowed him, and he's no longer considered even even though they can't technically say he's not the founder. They're saying that they just don't even want to acknowledge him as being the founder of Greenpeace over that.
And what really happened with Greenpeace, as far as I know, they started out like you said, save the whales. And what happened, and I think there's more than one organization, is that I know the Saudis came in and basically started funding them to protest oil. And but they were protesting oil on everything except for Saudi, where it came to the Middle East. They were trying to stop us from drilling our own, is what it boiled down to.
Mm-hmm.
So it became a semi money laundering organization. It became a protest organization for hire. And yes, once you start getting into the dirty money into things, you do tend to fall in with the globalist. And yeah, once they start paying them to disseminate climate change garbage, yeah, it's just a major sellout organization.
Yeah. Well, ExxonMobil is funding a lot of these environmental environmental science or yeah environmental climate groups, I should say, so that they can go against the companies, which is their greatest competitors as well. So they know that if they take not just Exxon, a lot of the oil companies are catching on to it too, and they're sending this money off to these environmental climate groups so that they'll protest against coal, which is their competitor. And without coal getting support, they get more money out of the part of it. You know what I mean? And then they can turn around and they can invest into making batteries and you know thinning their oil out to where it's freaking less harmful to the environment, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they're on their last freaking grasp, and they know they are, but they can still make money off of them. So
Now, I'm going to tell you, I have done work for ExxonMobil, and that was a completely different experience. About once a week, they would have a site-wide meeting, and they'd call everyone to the big, I think it was the cafeteria, but it was set up, like a big gym-style address conference, and they would call on people to give their personal opinions on matters. And your personal opinion had better line up with what they wanted.
yeah,
There was all kinds of cloak and dagger. It was like 1984. People reporting on each other behind the scenes, and it was very much you had to worry about everyone down around you trying to take you down and report you. It was a 1940 AD4 scare fiasco working for them. You know what? When they got rid of me, okay, I'll tell you why they got rid of me too, and this is really screwed up, but I'll tell you in a bit. I mean, when they got rid of me, it was almost a relief because then I could go work somewhere else.
yeah. I've heard that actually. I've actually heard people say that it's a horrible freaking job. It is horrible.
The reason they got rid of me is I was too good at my job and I shared my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I am not kidding you. Because I knew as much as I did with all the experience that I had, when I talked about things and how I solved things when I was actually trying to help the other, the younger guys grasp the troubleshooting methods and what have you.
They were intimidated.
I might have been intimidating other people and making them feel less adept than I am. So I had to go.
Oops.
So yes, I have been fired for being too good of a tech.
Good, period.
That's the thing that really gets me about it and everything. Right now I'm going through and just kind of scrolling down on the
yeah, Xenu was the name of the guy I couldn't remember earlier. So yes, Xenu.net.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at this project paradox that you guys were talking about. There's like this whole research, the paradox of project control, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff in the part.
Now, Vanunu, have you guys ever heard of Vanunu?
Not ringing a bell.
Vanunu was Operation Samson. His name was Medichai Vanunu, and he was also known as John Crossman, and an Israeli former nuclear technician and peace activist who cited his opposition to weapons of mass destruction. What happened was, I don't know if you guys remember the story of not Webb, what was her name? She's the one that mysteriously died. She worked at a nuclear power plant back in the 70s, and she was mentioning to her boss that there was nuclear power rods that had come up missing, and she kept insisting on that the fact that they need to find out if those rods were stolen, you know, and it got to the point where people started becoming worried, and on her way home she was run off the road and killed. Well, a lot of people believe that that was involved with a nuclear deal that was taking place with the United States and Israel. And what would happen was is they would ship these nuclear rods over to Israel, and Israel had their top secret nuclear plan going on, and it was called Operation Samson. Now, their nuclear program isn't set up like ours or any of the other ones. Like, they don't have missiles sticking out or down in silos. They've got them built underground, and it's called the dead switch. So if, like, there's going to be an invasion and Israel knows that they're going to lose, they're just going to hit a button and destroy their own freaking country. All right? For decades, Israel denied ever happened this stuff until Vanunu came out with it and gave the information to a news media in England. In the process of him being in England, freaking Israel was debating on if they wanted to take him back to Israel or kill him, and they finally decided that they were going to take him back. So they arrested him in France, transported him back to Israel, and he's been a prisoner there ever since.
And when did this happen?
This happened back in the 70s, I believe. Okay, I'll click on Wikipedia just for that. But I'm doing it in protest, David.
It's in the name of research. It's in the name of
Like I tried Info Galactic.
Nuclear arsenal.
It just got stale.
Yeah. But it happened, the British press in 1986. Yeah, and it was the Israeli nuclear weapons program. He gave the information to the British press in 1986. He was lured to Italy by the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad. Now, Mossad is another group that would be a good discussion too, because they're some dirty freaking people, man. Where he was drugged and abducted because they had a beautiful woman who pretended that she liked him, you know, and seduced him into leaving England and going to Italy, where they were able to drug him in his drink and then take him without problems. But that was an interesting story that I got caught up into when it comes to all this stuff and energy and nuclear and all that. But I thought that would be interesting in sharing. I think we did all right. Plus, like I said, there hasn't been much covered over Jack Parsons. You know what I mean? And
why do we keep going astray from that subject? The same thing yesterday. See, something's there. You gotta understand energy and.
This stuff is probably connected to him in some way.
What it is, yeah.
Yeah.